Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the often confusing world of corporate filings. Today we're diving into a report from Columbia Select Global Equity Fund, and it's going to be less boring than it sounds, I promise. It's like finding out your favorite superhero is actually terrible with their finances. What if I told you a fund with almost $700 million in assets managed to lose money? That's right, we're looking at a fund that, despite holding some big names like Microsoft and Amazon, had a tough 6 months. We'll break down where the losses came from and what it means for the future. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below so we can all become great corporate decoders. First, let's set the stage. This isn't your typical company report. This is a certified shareholder report, basically a checkup on how this investment fund is doing with your money. It covers the period up to April of 2025. This report tells us how the sausage, or should I say investment portfolio, is made. Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty financials. Remember, this is an unaudited report, so it's like getting preliminary results before the official grades are in. Before we move on, keep in mind that the fund invests in something called Columbia Short-Term Cash Fund. It might not sound like much, but it's actually a related company, and they trade money around in it worth millions of dollars, so it may have an impact on our view of the financials. Now, take a look at the actual investments that the fund holds. A significant portion are in the United States, but other significant investments are in Germany, the United Kingdom, and Japan. The fund is invested in companies all over the world. That said, the biggest investment is in Microsoft. Here is the bottom line, even though paid in capital is over $372 million, but the total distributable earnings is only $388 million. Let's keep going to understand the details on this apparent discrepancy. Now let's look at how the fund actually performed. When we net everything out, including the fees waived or expenses reimbursed by investment manager, the fund still shows a net investment loss of about $800,000. How is that possible? As you can see, the net assets at the beginning of the period was $722 million, but at the end it was only $680 million, that is. Let's take a quicker glance at a key indicator. Remember, the fund lost over $40 million in this period. Here is a quick summary of that loss broken down per share. Take a look at the total return for Class A shares. The total return is negative 0.26%. For the Institutional 3 class, the total return is negative 0.15%. Now, what are the biggest risks that the fund managers are worried about? The managers mention political risks in European countries, as well as the risk that technology changes will make current tech stock investments obsolete. These risks might lead to significant market volatility. Finally, the shareholder concentration risk is that the fund can be impacted by actions of affiliated partners that comprise a majority of the shareholder. Concentration risk is that the fund can be impacted by actions of affiliated partners that comprise a majority of the shareholders. Lastly, is there any wrong behavior being done from our legal perspective? No. It seems that all the correct procedures are being followed. So what is our overall take on this situation? Well, the fund clearly had a rough 6 months. Even if it holds a lot of reputable famous companies, that fact itself does not ensure success. In fact, this report is the perfect exhibit of that. While the fund invests in well-known companies like Microsoft and Amazon, it experienced a net loss and decrease in net assets. It seems like the fund struggled to navigate market changes and risks effectively. Moreover, the fund's vulnerability to market volatility and shareholder concentration poses ongoing risks. The big guys can make decisions that move the fund in unexpected ways because they have a critical mass. However, the fund isn't necessarily going to go out of business, but it might not be the best choice for everyone. You want to make sure you aren't putting money into a place you aren't completely aware of. Alright, that's our breakdown of this report. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.